It's Grand Finals day here at the Makahari Messe, but before we even get into the meat and potatoes of the day itself as well, we have a lovely little teaser here. I'm Bren, joined by Sideshow as usual as well, and Coleman Palms as well, the Associate Director of Product Management here at VALORANT as well on the dev side. Thank you very much for joining us, and we're going to be taking a look as well at Team Deathmatch, this new game mode.
I'm looking forward to it.
Released. It's going to be good, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be so interesting. We've got a show match here with Team Japan against the international team, playing on a game mode that we've never seen before. We get to explore it at the same time as they do. I'm hyped for it. I mean, you must be too. It's like the first unveiling of this project you've been working on for a long time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been working on this game mode for a long time. I think it's going to be really exciting to see how they engage with Valorant in a pretty different sort of way.
Yeah.
Obviously, TDM, it takes a lot of mechanics that are going to be very familiar from our core game mode, but sort of flips it on its head in terms of the amount of uptime, the amount you're respawning, really changes the flow of the game. So seeing how they experiment with it.
You talk about that. I mean, as us for casting the game, it's going to be non-stop action too compared to what we used to.
Yeah, no downtime really at all. Let's take a look at the rules actually as well for this Team Deathmatch game mode as we look further forwards and set this one up. So, you know, pretty simple across the board. First to 100 kills wins for either side of the teams. There's 3 new maps that have been built specifically. You can play any agent that you have unlocked. The agents will have abilities. They run on cooldown timers. We're not going to get into the nitty-gritty of that, I don't think. But overall, you're looking at around 10 minutes of total match time, 9 minutes 30, split into 4 stages, each with a different set of maps. We've got plenty of time as well during a show match to break down the real specifics of this as well. But that's a general overview. So really a fresh new look at Valorant that is just being defined in this way and form. This isn't, you know, like some cutesy little idea. There is a lot that's been put into this game mode, right, Cole?
Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely. Once again, we're trying to take a lot of the familiar gameplay experiences from our core mode and sort of adapt it to Valorant's version of Team Deathmatch. So we're going to be moving through the economy, we're going to be interacting with abilities and gunplay, but it's all manifested, especially with these unique TDM maps that we've built to create the best experience for this mode.
Okay, well, the first map that we're going to be playing, I'm excited to take a look at it, have a fly through, let's see what we're doing. So this is Piazza, which I'm sure people at home will be able to tell there's some similarities in terms of the design, the feel, compared to maps that they'll be familiar with, but these are brand new, right? They have so many different quirks, corners, small areas, and the map is a lot more condensed than you'll be used to if you only play Valorant in the spike mode.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our traditional maps are built around this sort of attack-defend loop, right?
Yeah.
So TDM, you have to build geometry that supports this sort of play pattern in a very different way.
Let's take a look at the rosters as well for the show match that's on hand here as well. We have Team International versus Team Japan, bringing in content creators, pro players across the board as well. And yeah, some of the biggest names in terms of Japan content creation.
Oh,
Josh,
yeah.
You know, we were talking to some of the Japanese casters, you were as well. I mean, these guys, they have ludicrous bios attached to them in terms of what they're actually famous and known for. I don't know if this is them submitting or what, but there was something about asparagus farming in there.
Yeah, allegedly Spikey, a 6'3", home of asparagus farm, from that kind of stock and lineage, I suppose.
How do you farm asparagus?
Dude, I don't know. We should have looked into it beforehand. But it's so cool for us, too, because we're being introduced to this, the reason that Japan has blown up so much here. Because it's so much of a spectator sport with the streamers blowing up.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I mean, this is going to be really exciting to watch as well and seeing just how much they try and get away with.
Who have you got your money on?
My money?
Yeah.
Probably Team Japan. I think.
Why?
They got the home field advantage. That's the easy answer.
That's such nonsense for Team Deathmatch.
Yeah.
Well, I know Team International got at least 1 game in on the TDM booth yesterday.
Oh, they actually got
maybe they're sandbagging a little bit. Yeah, we'll have to see.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, the teams are almost ready to walk out as well for this one here to get this show match really underway. It is going to be exciting. A nice little teaser before, like I said before, you know, the grand final starting later on today. But without further ado, please, let's welcome the 2 teams, Team Japan and the international team as well.
Team International. Team Japan.
Let's get this started. This is going to be so sick to see. Team Deathmatch on the big stage. A clash between two of these teams as well. A nice little teaser to set the taste buds right, you know, just before we get into, you know, the grand finals as well later on today here at the Makahari Messe.
I love this. You've got all of these huge content creators and then sprinkled in with some pro Game Changers players too. I saw Mel there getting Team International together for a huddle beforehand. I don't know what they're discussing. I mean, this is not going to be them putting in hours and hours of scrims and perfecting Team Deathmatch.
You say that. I mean, Mel is very competitive. she might be that, honestly, she might have been putting in scrims beforehand.
I do, though, think that this is so fun because it's a game mode that it is like a fun, casual game mode, but it's also one that you can play with some level of like competitiveness behind it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not just like a practice environment. When I heard that Valorant was releasing Team Deathmatch, I thought, oh, well, it's going to be like Deathmatch, but you play it in teams. There's not going to be like abilities and a new flow to it and everything. It's just you run around and you get kills. But this is very much more of its own game mode, its own like freestanding thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's very meaningful depth and strategy to this mode. I mean, and obviously, we're seeing both these rosters are fielding pretty aggressively shaped comps with different compositions from each other, you know? And there's very much like intentionality in terms of how you're approaching this mode that's very different from our traditional spike modes as well.
For sure. And we'll break down the ideas of the little abilities, ult orbs, weapons. You know, there's tons of different things that you can play for, like micro-objectives scattered around each of the maps, right? But how would you define our first map just in general? We're headed to Piazza. Each of the three maps, they do look quite different in terms of how they're designed. So what's the philosophy with this first one that we're kicking off into?
Right, yeah, absolutely. So Piazza is our most wide open map out of the TDM map roster. You're going to see probably a lot of combat engagements around mid, but the main points of interest also are on these sides here, where both sides is going to have a sniper nest, which is really conducive for long-range fights to help control mid, but there's also going to be a hut to the side of the sniper nest that allows enemies to flank them. So, wide open, lots of fights in mid, some amount of sniping probably, and then Sentinels, controllers, or just people who want to play a little bit ratty are probably going to be trying to control those huts on the side to stop their teammates from getting flanked.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Almost ready to go as well. We will be getting into this one. Obviously, no sense of urgency with the content creators. They're just going to take their sweet time when they get inside, aren't they? Yeah. It's not like the pro teams, so they're just going to be like raring to go. But yeah, we will be getting into the action soon here for our first match of Team Deathmatch. We'll be playing out all three of the maps as well, uniquely designed for the game mode. Team Japan versus Team International. Let's get to it. You can already see, just from the minimap, all the little differences. You know, it's such a different look at it. Very familiar, obviously, in terms of the general look of the map to ascend.
He's flexing on us.
Yeah, flexing on us, but it's already so unique. You can see it. Fight to be taken into mid here between the two sides.
A stun online. Everybody else playing duelist, essentially.
And the flag's already picking off the Ratty Omen gameplay.
And there's the importance of hut control. Omen getting behind him right off the bat.
So close. And then Heli in the chamber just setting up over towards his left side too. So you'll notice that every time these players are spawning, as Hellion goes nuts, they're spawning back in the same location, right? It's not like some other Team Deathmatch modes in other games where the spawns are going to rotate. The game mode in Valorant, you're starting at the same spot every time.
Correct, yeah. It very much plays front to back. So, and especially in this early round, right now we're in stage 1, so everyone's going to be using pistols.
Gotcha.
But yeah, very much there's a lot of predictability in terms of where enemies are coming from, and you're very much playing for map control in this mode, as opposed to trying to get behind them or put their spawn.
I mean, trying to get behind them!
Not like this, not on the big stage!
Give him the
going down here with the knife!
We were robbed! Mel, the traitor, taking down Suruga Monkey and robbing us of the knife battle. But it looks like stage one's almost over. Yeah, there we go. So the
There we
stages
go.
change.
So when the stage flips, actually, even if you're out on the field, you can press B, the buy button, and it will update you with your next weapon.
Okay,
so
a
you
little
don't
bit
even
like
have to die or
escalation.
go back. Correct, yeah.
Right. And so stage 2, it looks like they're being equipped with stingers. But also, am I right in thinking that the different weapon pickups are now changed around the map? Did he just hit a fake Euro clone on him?
He just literally hit the fake Euro clone on them. He had to do it to him.
He's going crazy. He's farming content. TikTok's going to be exploding.
Yeah, what you said about the weapon spawners is also absolutely true. So the weapon spawners, what they do is they provide power weapons, but those are catered to the stage that you're in. So
Right,
the power weapons in stage 1 are going to be things more like the Sheriff, whereas the power weapons in stage 2, they need to upgrade to keep up with the weaponry.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at somebody taking a look at a Bucky, wondering whether or not they should go for that. So, I also believe that the Bucky spawns in locations that are more close quarters, right? Rather than being a weapon spawner that you would find in mid, and then you just sat sad alone in an open field with a Bucky.
Yeah, yep, that's absolutely the case. So the weapons are also curated to the areas of the map that they're on. So generally speaking, if you find a weapon that spawns there, it's probably a pretty good idea to pick it up because it should be powerful in the region that it's spawning in.
I love how seamless the stage changes are, because in my head when you were describing it to me, Cole, I thought it was going to be something very, set, a big reset, everybody goes back to spawn or something like that, but it's literally just non-stop gameplay. Constant action. It is non-stop gameplay.
Yep, high uptime was one of the main design goals of this mode. We want our players to be in there and be spending all of their time actually playing the game. So, yeah, it should be seamless and flowing the entire duration of the match.
Mel's got a Guardian. Mel? Mel's trying to hype you up and your team flashing. What's going on over here? But yeah, most of the players here with Bulldogs in hand, but I noticed there was a couple of upgrades. Guardian, Vandal, it looked like as well.
Yep, anyone who has a rifle at this point is getting that from a power weapon spawner. So we saw a couple Vandal Phantoms.
And we just saw Mel use her Phoenix ult too. Can you walk me through how the ults work? Because I'm looking down at the bottom of the screen.
Right.
It says a percentage. That's not how ults usually work in this game.
Yeah. So obviously with the amount of kills and deaths that are going on, we can't really use our same ult system from Spike mode. Instead, the way it works is the only way to charge your ultimate in Team Deathmatch is getting kills or picking up ultimate orbs, actually. And ultimate orbs, you'll find them around different areas of the map. If you look on the minimap, they're the little stars. They'll give you a percentage of your ultimate. So the players that are really getting a lot of kills or picking up a lot of these orbs are going to be getting their ults. We've gone through one rotation. They might be able to get another one before the game's out.
Well, we're in the final stage now, and we've got about 5.5 minutes to play with Vandals online. So that really is the bulk of the game mode, right?
I mean, this is even as well.
And it's so even.
Yep, it's neck and neck. Once again, it's first team to 100 kills, or whichever team has more kills at 10 minutes. But I think it's safe to say we're going to hit 100 kills first here. With how bloodthirsty this is, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I love as well that they've already figured out the kind of idea of what they want to go for. Japan was the first team here to work out that they should just stick as a death ball. Just a unit just sticking together, roaming around the map. But it's kind of just like consolidated. Look at them, they're just holding their ground towards the side.
I can hear the shots of an operator ringing out. I can't tell who's got it at the moment, though. And they may have gone down already. So once a player dies, that starts the reset on the weapon that they picked up. If you pick up one of these power weapons like the operator, you can't just drop it on the floor again for somebody else.
Correct. Yep, absolutely. So when you pick up that power weapon, it's going to disappear when you die. So you better make good use of it. But also it means that if someone picks up an op and you take them out, you know that that op's not going to be in play for another 45 seconds or so.
That was a very poor idea there, an overextension towards the spawn from our international team. And Mutter's got an operator.
Looks like we have judges spawned in the huts on both sides of the map, too. I'm waiting for a player to pick that up and really try to control that space. Oh.
Black was just running into spawn.
This is so damn close, man. 7 kills standing between it. The international team are running away with this now.
5 kills left, but they're overextending.
It's neck and neck.
They're just feeding into spawn.
Wait a second. It is so close.
Oh, the Raid's ult.
Showstopper. Maybe against the back wall. No. Anybody can be able to find it.
But only 2 kills away as Razzie picks up Spy Gear.
So damn close. One more kill.
Evenly made it.
No way. Stealing it away. What was that? Team Japan?
Yeah, Dory picked it up. Incredible stuff there towards the end. I mean, you couldn't have scripted a closer
It
game.
doesn't get much closer than that.
I'm not gonna lie, Team International, they were looking stern.
They dropped the ball.
They dropped the ball. They were leading, man. They were leading. They lost by 1.
But I do have a question for you. So I was watching Team International there, pushing forward a lot of the time, gaining a ton of map control, getting the kills,
Right.
and then about 3 separate waves died trying to push Team Japan's spawn.
Right.
So it feels like if you spawn in the same place all the time, you should be able to spawn camp. So why are they failing to be able to get the kills on the players that are just respawning in the same location?
Right, yeah. So there are some methods in place to stop spawn camping, just in stopping people from ever really engaging in the game.
Right.
Generally speaking, the way it primarily works is when you're coming out of the spawn, if you're familiar with the deathmatch sort of invulnerability field that you have when you first spawn in, it's similar to that. So players coming out of their spawn are pretty advantaged. We want to focus people on trying to control the map rather than just keeping the enemy in their spawn for the entire game.
Yeah. I'll take a look at
this.
some of the highlights.
Yeah, I mean, good luck trying to grab something purposeful as well. I mean, you're switching POV every 5 seconds. Just the nature of the game mode, really. But it felt very chaotic at the beginning, but it definitely honed in once both teams realized how to play it optimally almost. Right. When they were just sticking together, trying to play a bit more safe, trying to trade off of each other as well, making sure they didn't give away any unnecessary advantages.
Yeah, I mean, the game mode in terms of how you'd want to approach it if, you know, your sole aim was to win or something like that, might be to quite slowly take some areas and make sure that you have people in positions where you can control the map rather than just running it down.
Right.
How competitively do you feel like people will take it once it's released into the game? Do you think this is going to be a casual game mode that people just run around in, or are people going to like properly give it their all when they're in something like this and get sweaty about it?
Right. I think it's honestly, I think it's going to depend on the player, and we're really looking for something to be in between. More than anything with Team Deathmatch, we're really looking to we're aiming to make a really fun, engaging experience for players who already familiar are and love VALORANT 4 gameplay. So there's some amount of, I don't expect full rank sweatiness, but people are definitely, they're going to be in here to win. And there's a lot of unique skill vectors to showcase in this game mode.
It feels like a very good game mode as well to introduce friends to the game.
Oh yeah,
as well.
Absolutely.
You just want to, you know, get them used to the gunplay as well, the abilities, the general, you know, the core fundamentals of the game.
Yep.
And then later introduce them into the rest of the game. What are you laughing at?
I'm getting slayed by some of the reactions to these plays. I mean, the content creators, the players on stage for this show match are having a ton of fun playing Team Deathmatch. But yeah, let's take a look at map 2.
Yeah, this is going to be District that we're heading into.
So the first map looked like it had echoes of Ascent.
Right.
In terms of the, you know, design of the feel of it, the theme of it. So we're heading into District. What map are we looking at here then? In terms of having its most similar comparison within the main game.
So I think the biggest sort of like identity and differentiator of District compared to Piazza. Piazza is as you saw, like very wide open, pretty mid-focused map. Whereas District, it's going to be a lot more separated, right? So generally District, you have one side of the map that's a little bit more longer range focused and one side of the map that's a lot more close range focused. So it's going to be a little bit more separated, whereas Piazza is a little more symmetric. District, it's going to be really interesting to see how these teams allocate their resources to either side of the map.
Right.
Because there's real tension between balling up, like you were saying, being able to trade for each other, or actually being able to control the entirety of the map in District because of how separated it is.
It looks like a blend of Split and Haven to me. It's like a merging of the two. I like to imagine that they're cities that have kind of blended into each other in a mess of suburbia, and this is just the area in the middle where the two rival cities are fighting.
We'll be getting into the action here. Map number 2 for District. And it's high-octane gameplay off the rip.
And this is an asymmetrical map. I wasn't paying too much attention to Piazza as to whether it was perfectly symmetrical, but this is really different. You've got this big horseshoe-shaped thing over to the side.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. On the top side, you're going to have those longer range engagements, but then in the horseshoe, it's going to be closer range. So looks like we're generally veering more towards the long side of the map, but you do see Arena down there in the short side as well.
So this is really interesting. I didn't realize that when you place down the Viper wall, if you die, it ends up disappearing.
Right.
So you can place it again.
Wouldn't be much good if you only placed it once at the beginning of the game.
That's what I was wondering, right? But maybe people will start developing like a meta or something. I don't know. Best Viper wars to place on District.
All right. On the map. Finally, Mother flushed out of that position playing Reina, and you can see a flank attempt going on as Team Japan try and control the long side of the map.
Yeah. Those power weapons seem like they're going to be pretty important. Is that a Stinger I'm seeing on the minimap?
Yep,
Yeah.
Stingers spawn towards the top side of the map here.
I mean,
Let's see
that looks
which
like it
team
would
goes for
absolutely crush pistol players.
And look, I mean, they're finding it so difficult to get through this. Snake bites at their feet, the abilities flash in their face.
Everybody vulnerable up, and yet Razzie picking off hit by hit.
Mel just picked up that recovery orb, and recovery orbs are actually really powerful because they'll heal both your health and your armor if you have armor in your loadout. One additional thing to note, actually, is when you pick up one of these ultimate orbs or recovery orbs, it actually creates a field under the orb's feet that your teammates can flex to.
Really?
Yes, so you're not
Wow.
fighting with your teammates over these sub-objectives. You gather them together as a team as long as you're playing together.
So how large is that field? Are we talking like big enough so that if you're in the roughly same area, or do you have to be basically on top of each other?
You basically, so the field lasts for a couple seconds, so you need to run over where the orb was. So it's pretty
Okay.
small. You won't get it incidentally, but as long as you're both intentionally going for the same objective, you're not going to have your teammates steal the health pack out from under you. You're both going to be working together to get that benefit.
Yeah, that's pretty great. That makes it feel much more like a team objective that you're going to be fighting over. Big flank from Mel again.
Oh yeah, Mel is frying right now.
80% towards the ult.
Cast the curse.
Yeah.
Mel is frying immediately dies. I've definitely seen the limit testing from both teams as well, as they're steadily pushing into the spawn and they realize they've overstepped themselves.
Yeah.
And they've immediately get punished for it.
And on top of that, choosing agents that have more utility, I feel, in this mode too. The Haunt just lighting people up, and Snakebite vulnerabling people seems so valuable.
It's a fast game. Going to be entering stage 3 pretty soon here.
And you can see on the minimap where the Phantom Vandals have spawned.
Yeah.
Yep. These are big power weapons for the teams to pick up. Getting these early rifles in stage 3 is really powerful. And Dory picked one up.
Yeah, Dory working towards it. Paranoia in the face, nearsighted. Hunting for an easy sight line. Hellion. He's taken out 2 already.
Going crazy here.
Slight lead.
Hellion's picked up a 3rd, but Team Japan just kind of holding their ground and allowing the international squad to just walk into them.
Yeah.
It's very slow, methodical map control gameplay for a team that's only been formed recently as a show match. That's a lot of discipline.
You can see the teams trying to fight as well over those power weapons you were talking about, Cole.
Yep. It's another close game here.
Yeah.
It is, but
6
I'm just
kills.
looking at the way that Team Japan are playing this, and they have learned not to overextend.
Right.
I mean, they're trying to play complementary crossfires with each other and hold on to this kind of internal area in the long side. Oh, I say that as Mother just runs in as
All
Reina.
the way in, man. The ult's
Right.
popped off.
And you don't want to play too passive. You don't want to give up these ult orbs to the power weapons. But yeah, you definitely don't want to be running like lemmings into the enemy spawn. It's not going to pan out well for you.
Spy Gear just got caught trying to fight the horseshoe over there as Razzie picks up a few on Jet. And now Razzie's got the knives.
Oh, the knives!
All good.
Saved,
All good.
saved. All good. Nobody saw that. Nobody saw that. This is Team Japan leading once more. Only steadily, though. It's a minor lead. Here's the ult popped off for Mel. Run it back. See what she can get done here. Flash around the corner. Shut down. It's an easy one handed off. I notice how the power weapons as well change it over towards the judge. There's an Odin that spawns in the middle of the map here as well, but the judges, you were saying, Cole, right? It's close quarters, it's more suited towards
Right.
those areas of the map where, even though everybody's got rifles, you know, if you've got a judge in that situation, it's going to be better, probably. Mother, oh my God. Absolutely frying, just can't land the spray transfer, but this is a huge lead now for Team Japan.
Now we're in stage 4 here. It's rifle round the entire rest of the game.
Yeah, this is almost a 10-kill lead at this point. Team Japan came here to win, apparently. Just still holding the ground, you're right, Josh. I mean, they're just holding that line of map control. Never overextending. Every time there's an attempt of somebody on an international team to pick up a power weapon, they try and punish. The Viper Spin is online.
Just locking down. I really hope that she goes and grabs that judge back there and just controls this side of the map.
Yeah, Dory's very weak, but
I think Mother's got it. Yeah, Mother's got the judge. Mother's got the judge inside the pit. You do not
There
want
we
to
go.
be going in there. Eventually
Dory
shut down.
accidentally, I think, walking over the recovery orb that was imperative for her to be able to stay alive inside the pit. But that now makes it almost impossible, I think, for the international team to be able to come back into this.
Oh, yeah. They don't have control of the north side of the map. Mel is absolutely running over them, though. This is almost a single-handed deadlift performance.
Oh, Black went for a TP inside the pit, and Mel's
Mel's
taking it
hunting!
in! Oh, Dory's good for it!
And 4 more kills also stands between it. It's going to be map 2 locked up. 2 more kills for Team Japan. They've almost got it. Running back going to be fading away here. 1 more kill. We'll finalize it. That'll end it.
Who's going to get it?
Inside the pit, nobody dares venture inside.
Can the observers find the player who's going to get the
desperately
final
trying to
kill?
find it. Team International are running away. They got it. Bria's definitely not on the observing. Holy.
Oh, Spy Gear there towards the end, being able to pick things up. But my MVP is Dory. I mean, that Viper's pit was ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
And the way that she was controlling the area earlier on, too, nasty good.
One thing I want to call out too is this: the Team Japan squad. They're running a controller and an initiator. I think a lot of people looking at TDM, they initially think, "Hey, it's TDM, 5 duelists."
Five duelists, run it down.
having that utility to be able to cut up the map, know where teams are, and be able to exert control is actually really powerful. That Viper's pit's a good example of that, obviously.
And also the snake bites. I mean, we're seeing an example of it just there, but being able to vulnerable large amounts of players that they're pushing into an area is,
That was actually
extremely
just
big.
goated. Just the Viper walls cutting up most of the map as well, and just locking off the power weapons.
Okay, so we've literally seen people learning in real time.
Yeah,
Right.
We started map 1, and they're playing mostly duelists. I think there was an Omen on one team and a Breach on the other. There was the Chamber as well, but mostly just picking agents that are self-sufficient and can frag. And now we're seeing a little bit of adaptation, a Fade, a Viper, these kind of things.
People realizing utility is important.
Are we going to see? Are we going to see a professional team comp for map 3?
Well, the next map is going to be Casper. This one, clearly inspired as well, I think, in terms of just the look of the map from Bind, but it's not exactly like Bind. How does this map here differ, Cole, from the ones we've just seen?
Right. So Casbah, more so than the 2 maps that we watched previously, all of the lanes really funnel into mid, and mid is where a lot of the resources are. So I will say, out of our launch maps, I think Viper ult in the center of Casbah is one of the scariest things that you can face in TDM for sure. I hope that one of these teams is going to draft a Viper. But yeah, Casbah generally, you're going to see more fringe fights around the outside, but there's going to be a lot of contesting the mid for all of those ult orb, recovery orb, and power weapon resources that exist there.
Gotcha. And of course, Team Japan have already won this. It's 2-0. You don't need to punch the score up there, but at the end of the day, we're going to play all 3 maps.
The score at a show match.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to play 3 maps anyway, but yeah, Team Japan are leading. They've got a firm grip in terms of how to play that, especially in District.
Yeah,
watching them learn in real time.
I'm very interested to see. Okay, Cole, I want to ask you a tough question.
Sure.
All right? Probably shouldn't ask you this one, because it's like picking between your children.
I can't wait.
What's your favorite of the 3 maps here?
Ooh, I think my favorite is probably District, because you can really choose your fights. But Casbah is a close second for me personally. I really like to sort of experiment some more utility characters, and there's a lot of good places to use them on this map.
Seems a lot wider in terms of the map, just by looking at the minimap, but I don't know if that's deceptive.
Well, you've got weapon spawns at both of the 2 edges, and then 2 weapon spawns in the middle as well.
Yeah.
Team Japan are not messing around. Look at them. All grouped together. Like a hive mind, following in one after another. Let's see if there's going to be any sort of trades online. Spy Gear getting away with that on the flank. Still with the heal. Black's hunting, searching. He can hear the camp. He's being swarmed from every particular angle.
And it's an interesting team comp, isn't it? I mean, we've got Cypher and Killjoy out here to try and give information, I guess. I mean, maybe we'll see some trap setups too.
The regen.
Yeah, Killjoy definitely can be pretty potent in terms of locking down some of these areas. The turret alone, but as well Nano Swarm's really good at denying those orbs.
Ellie, I'm going to try and brute force through here as Black goes for another one of the TikTok plays.
Yeah. See, Cypher with the Shorty. Shorty is actually considered a power weapon on pistol round because it'll only spawn in those close range areas.
Right, so it's only ever going to be in a place where it's more valuable potentially than the Ghost or something like that.
And
anyway.
you can't load out with the Shorty at a baseline. You got to pick it up out in the map.
Nate's flying back and forth here. The international team seems to have stepped it up quite a bit. They're holding the lead now, but I wonder if that's going to be changing as soon as the ults come online here, getting into stage 2. How close is Dory to the ult as well? I wonder if they can switch POVs, because like you're mentioning, Colt, that Viper's pit really did change the game. Only 13
way away. But right next to that ult orb, didn't quite reach it.
And And am I right in thinking the different ultimates charge at different rates? It definitely feels like some are getting online slower.
Yep, it's absolutely true. Same thing with the cooldowns. All these abilities are tuned individually for what's going to make the most sense for a team deathmatch experience. But yeah, if you pick up an ult orb as Phoenix compared to picking up an ult orb as Raze or Viper, they're going to give you differing percentages of your ultimate.
Dory there getting a kill, but Razzy's on a bit of a tear.
Yeah,
I feel
Razzie is frying.
I feel like on an individual level, the international team is stepping up. But now sent all back to spawn.
Yeah.
This Gecko, 82% of her ultimate already.
Thrash does seem kind of absurd. I feel like you could very easily get 5k detains on a map like this.
Close to the ult.
If people are all bunched up.
And some of these agents are pretty interesting in terms of how their utility manifests. Neon, Viper, Gecko. Gecko's ability to pick up his abilities, as well as Viper's ability to flutter her fuel or Neon to sprint, allows them to use their utility a little bit more than a lot of these other characters.
Trade there from Mother as they contest the side of the map where Mel's playing all alone.
I feel like Mel is consistently getting 4 kills before being brought down.
And Mel's been top fragging like crazy in these games,
Yeah.
and yet, you know, team letting her down. What can you say? What can you say? Team diff.
Holding the angles here. Razzy's actually having a bit of a game, I'm not gonna lie.
They're running away with it this time. And Cast the Curse live in
I
action.
just mentioned it. We switched to it. Razzy goes down.
Black's going for the knife kills.
Yeah.
I mean, we have been told that Black has a history of going for knife kills in show matches like this. But I haven't seen one yet pop
I'm
up
not
on
sure
the scoreboard.
if they've achieved one yet at this point.
I don't believe so. I want to see it before this ends.
We're about to see this thrash.
Oh, we caught it! We caught it! No way!
That's ridiculous.
Oh, again? Again! Threw it around.
Black's worked out the tech.
Yeah, actually worked it out. Spike here. Getting away with a lot here, but this is a massive lead for the international team.
Yeah.
Did not want to go home 3-0.
No, obviously not. No team today wants to go home 3-0. That applies to the showmatch teams and EG and Fnatic later on too. They're hoping for something competitive later on. I mean, it looks like Team Japan are trying to make it that kind of way here too. So, we haven't seen too many of the fights actually happening around this very congested middle area. Most of these teams have been approaching the sides of the map to try and swing out on the flank.
Okay.
Here we go.
The ult, the thresh. Oh, there's no real sightlines. There's a lockdown in play.
Got two!
There is entertainment. Yep, right there.
Are they going to be able to capitalize on it?
Not at all.
Not quite.
Not at all.
Nice and safe, tucked around the side.
Meanwhile, Black's going for another knife. I mean, Black is just on the other side of the map trying to TikTok people.
Razzy is locked in right now. Couldn't hit the spray transfer for the 4-piece. Black moves forwards, clone into space, maybe getting a little bit confused. No, brought down.
Now Hellion's completely alone, trying to contest people coming out of spawn. You haven't learned yet. You haven't learned yet.
It's a lot to learn of a new map.
It certainly is. So it looks like there's 2 judge spawns in the middle of the map there.
That's why I was hoping to see that Viper ult control the center of that map, get the power spawns, but...
What's Dory up to now? Did she use the ult already?
I'm not too sure.
Well, it looks like Team International, they're getting ready to close this game out.
83%, and yeah, there's only 10 kills that stand between winning for Team International. And Razzy is absolutely frying. Black's going for the nice kill again! Unbelievable, right into the spawn. No one's learning their lessons a bit, but it's only 6 kills to go. There's the Viper's kill, finally towards the end of the game.
One of the spawn exits.
Oh,
They're only 3 kills away from being able to do this. Can Team Japan mount any kind of comeback?
They have to rattle off the kills here.
This clash over towards the right side might define things.
Yep, 2 more. Baited by the clone. It's over in a flash. There it is, map number 3, all wrapped up here in our show match. The end scoreline being that 2-1 finish for Team Japan. The international team, though, listen, not going home without a win.
No, and that's the best you can hope for, I think.
Yeah.
You know, they turned up, they tried, but they were vanquished by Japan's best.
And that is the show match concluded as well for us here today.
Spy Gear popping off on Reina in that final map too. Legendary asparagus farmer.
Yep.
6'3" monster.
We didn't come to the conclusion of how asparagus is farmed. Is it a root vegetable? Does it grow on trees?
He
I
was-
don't know. The education system has failed me.
He was farming on Casper. That's all that matters.
Yeah. So, yeah, the teams are going to be setting up as well for their goodbyes.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
afraid that is elimination for Team International. We're going to have to send them home from Masters Tokyo.
We'll be getting them on a flight within the next hour.
Ship them out. They're not allowed to watch the finals.
This is fun though, honestly. And I absolutely love this game mode. I think it's going to be the perfect warm-up game mode for a lot of people.
Sure.
Yeah. Perfect game mode to introduce friends to the game as well, just the Valorant in general.
And it's short, right? I mean,
Yeah.
each map that we watched today was only 9.5 minutes, 10
Oh
minutes,
yeah, I
something
mean,
like that.
the maximum the mode can go, it ends at 10 minutes, and most
Right.
of these games they're ending at 100 kills instead. So
Sure.
yeah, it's pretty short, condensed experience for sure.
Yeah. A lot of fun. And big thanks to the individuals that were on both of these showmatch teams. I know that the Japanese fans will be loving the fact that some of these enormous streamers representing all sorts of different organizations within Japan came out to play. And we've got representation from everybody. I mean, Fnatic, Detonator, Zeta Division, all sorts of different teams. And the Japanese fans love the opportunity to witness like things like this happening in Japan.
Yeah.
The game has just blown up as a spectator sport, and you can tell with the turnout and the way that all the fans interact, they're just happy to be here.
Yeah.
It's so sick.
It's beautiful to watch, honestly, as well. I love, especially when you get to the grand finals of a day of an event, at any of it, you know, Masters, Champs as well, but it just feels like a culmination, a celebration of the game. Like, all on the same day when you see the show matches at work.
I'm glad we caught this. A shout out to the Observer team,
Oh,
who will
yeah.
have never had a more difficult task, I think, than observing all of this.
No, when we opened up on map 1, I thought Godspeed. Yeah. I was like, good luck.
Because it's so much higher action, and I think that's one of the things that players are going to really appreciate about
Right.
just throwing into a game mode like this. But yeah,
Clearly having a good time.
All right, let's send it down. That's it for the show match. Let's bring it right down to the floor. It's Oda is down there with the winners.
And you? Your name? Oda.
Japanese Zakias. さあということで見事このエキシビションマッチに、戦っていただいたお二人にお越しいただきました。改めて大きな拍手をお願いいたします。さあまずはバージョン1のメル選手からお話を聞いていきましょう。たくさんのファンが見守る中どんな気持ちでプレーしていましたか？
So how was it play? Actually playing right in front of a big audience.
The crowd here is amazing. You guys had such energetic vibes, and it was just a pleasure to be here and play in front of you guys. Even against you, it was very nice.
対戦相手という立場でのプレーだったんですけれども、こんなにたくさんの観客の素晴らしいエネルギーを感じながらプレーできてとても嬉しかったです。
ありがとうございます。さあそして今年のゲームチェンジャーズは出ますか？それともまだ内緒ですか？
So if you can reveal, are you going to play at the Game Changers this year?
That is our hope. We hope so. We've won one so far, so 2 more to go to guarantee that we go, and I hope we're there in Brazil.
そうですね、ブラジルで出場できれば嬉しいと思います。まだ1勝なので、これからあと2回試合があるので、そこで勝っていきたいと思います。
ありがとうございます。さあそして皆さんにメッセージいただいていいですか？
Then please give all of the audience here a message.
Thank you guys for cheering. The energy in here is amazing. You guys are awesome, and I hope that we can have your support for Game Changers Brazil for version 1. Thank you.
皆さん今日も応援ありがとうございました。皆さんの前でプレーできるの本当に気持ちがよく最高でした。ゲームチェンジャーズでも応援してもらえるように頑張ります。
ありがとうございます。さあそしてドーリー選手、
はい、
最高のバイパースピットでした。試合を終えていかがですか？
あれ良かったですね。もう感想としてはやっぱすごい舞台となんか大勢のお客さんの前でプレーできたことにもう本当に感動しました。
ありがとうございます。今年ゲームチェンジャーズはまだ内緒ですか？どうですか？
で出るのでぜひ応援をよろしくお願いします。
So I am competing at the Game Changers this year. So please root for me, and I am so happy and so overwhelmed to play in front of this big audience. Thank you so much for your support.
ありがとうございます。改めてショーマッチを戦い抜いた10名の方に大きな拍手をお願いいたします。Thank you.